fears and worries that are right there. Just the smell of salt water that's in the air. And the sunrise. She's walking on water. She's walking on water. Imagine waking up not knowing if today's your last one. Tell me what would you say if you had some? Somebody tell you that you're young but you're dying, which is weird cause you feel so alive. And she has a dream to be queen of the ocean. Mad emotion showing her devotion. On her surfboard fully in motion, hoping for a miracle when the eyes first open. She wakes up and picks up a surfboard, heads out from the seashore, from the water where she lives. She's got no fears or worries at all right there. Just the smell of salt water that's in the air. And the sunrise. She's walking on water. She's walking on water. Face up, toes in the sand. Surfer girl gave up, trying to understand. But soon get to living on the same die. She's tired of goodbyes cause they make her cry. Looking in the sky, blue as her eyes, watching the rising of the sun. Well, how time flies when you're outside and you're in love and you're having fun. Remember the early days when she was laying down on the sand with the fam, and she had a plan, fam, to wake up after daylight. Watch your eyes like the sun on the run from the night. Feels so alive when she wakes up and takes up a surfboard, heads out from the seashore, from the water where she lives. She's got no fears or worries at all right there. Just the smell of salt water that's in the air. And the sunrise. From the water where she lives. From the water where she lives. From the water where she lives.
All right. Hey, everybody. I am Wes Seiler, and let me know if you can hear us okay. We are broadcasting live. Happy Thursday night, folks. Give me a thumbs up or a comment. Let me know if you can hear the mic. Seems like it's coming through all right. And I got my good friend Jersey Jerry is here, so we're going to have some fun tonight.
Hey, everyone. How you all doing out there?
Looks like we got about 8 or 9 folks that have jumped in already, so hit us up with a comment. But I'm excited. You ready to have some fun?
Yeah, I'm ready.
That's
ready.
gonna be
Let's
great.
do it.
So we got Christmas coming up here pretty soon. So let's talk about that first while we're waiting for everybody to jump in. So what have you got planned for the next week, man?
Just still a lot of work. I am blessed to be busy. Thank you, Wes, for that opportunity. The big thing is our Pirate Plunge coming up, which we'll be discussing later.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but I'm just staying busy.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to talk about that. We've got a whole lot to cover tonight. I'm excited because we've been working on this studio, getting this all set up for the past couple of weeks. I mean, this is a really fun upgrade. I've done a bunch of these live shows, but typically it's like me with my phone in my hand or like at my kitchen table or whatever. So it's a nice little upgrade.
This is almost professional, folks. I'm talking.
We're getting there.
I'm talking really good. But
Good.
the proof in the pudding is your comments to us. Are we doing it right?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah. So this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get into the Pirates and the plunge and everything that you're doing. But the first thing I want to do is talk about you, man, because I've known you now, what's it been, 3 years?
Yeah, just about.
So the first time I met you was at a Preserve Navarre meeting because you came, I think it was at Culver's.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
And then you were the first guy to say, okay, sounds great. Looks like the volume is good. You were the first guy to speak up. I think I was like 15 seconds into the welcome, and immediately you were talking. And then at St. Sylvester's was the second time, and you were the guy in the very back of the room who was
Always in
just
the
like,
back.
hey, turn up the volume, right? Like, and I love that because some people would be like, well, who is this guy? I was like, well, he's outspoken. That's what we need.
Here's what I learned, Wes,
Yeah.
when I was a youngin'. You sit in the front row, and it's really neat because you're up close and everything. But there may be some dignitary that seat belongs to,
Yeah.
and then you're asked to move. So I always sit in the back, and if fortunate enough they ask me to come forward, I can do that.
Yeah.
And besides, if somebody comes in with a gun, I'll be the first one to save everyone. So I'm a hero.
So I talked to definitely. So I talked to Chuck. I was like, "Who is this guy? Like, who is this guy that's at our meetings that's yelling from the back?" He's like, "Oh, that's Jersey Jerry. Everybody knows Jersey Jerry." I was like, "Jersey Jerry?" Yeah. He's like, "Yeah, he is a staple of the community." And he's just like, "I'll tell him to quiet down. I'll tell him." I was like, "No, we need to get him on our team. Like, well, that's what we need. We need folks like that." So. It's been great getting to know you over the years,
Well,
man.
I appreciate
your
it.
yeah, I appreciate your help. Now, when it comes to the pictures, right? So I put out a picture for this going live, and I asked Jersey to give me his best photo for this, so we could make y'all look nice and good. And this is what you gave me. This is a strong photo. If you saw the intro, if you saw us sending this out, then you saw that picture. I mean, you could sell houses with that photo.
I did.
Okay.
That's been on a few business cards. But that was not my forte. I retired 18 years ago from 29 years doing commercial real estate in Northern Virginia. And to do houses again, because I started in '64 doing houses, I had to go back to, being that.
So would you say this is your best photo? Is that the best? Is that the official portrait?
Right now? Yeah, that'll be, if I go soon, that'll be.
That's the one. That's the one.
obit,
Everyone.
yeah.
Okay, so I
have some with the ponytail I had for 8 years and a beard down on my. But no, that's the one that.
I did not find those, but I did use my research skills. Also, I think you may have sent me this one by mistake at one point, but I did find this photo. Now, this might have been taken earlier than the other one. I'm not sure about that.
That is 1962 when I graduated from Seton Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who I was back then.
Well, and so my millennial friends, Gen Z friends, they may have some questions about this because if I'm not mistaken, that is not in color. Is that correct?
No, they had color. No.
Can you explain why?
Well, it wasn't invented yet. I mean, no, everything was black and white back in the 50s and early 60s.
All right, so in order for it to be a fair comparison between the different photos, okay, this is an early Christmas present that I got for you. I spent a little time and fixed it for you. There it is, right there. Can you see that?
Oh my gosh!
Is that correct? Is it?
That looks awesome.
I guessed on the skin tone and
I
the
wish
hair
my
and
mom
everything.
was alive to see that. That looks good.
So here's the thing. I was doing this yesterday, getting ready for this show, and I wasn't sure about the eye color. But I don't know how a grown man asks another grown man, like, well, I was like, if I text him that and say, what's your eye color? That might have been the weirdest.
I think it's hazel, but that was then probably brown now because there's so much in me.
Right. I was like, I don't even know how to begin to approach this question. Like, ask my wife, hey, what's Jersey's eye color? Like, she should not know. All right, good. I guessed right. So I think that's your best picture, man. But
well, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So, tell us a little bit, about how you came to Navarre. Like, as we do these shows, I can't wait to interview people. And the one question I want to ask is, tell me how you came to Navarre and why you love it. That's really what I want to hear.
All right. First, he didn't ask me this, but the question I get asked an awful lot is, oh, you're Jersey Jerry because you're from Jersey. And I go, well, yes, but that's not how I got that nickname. My nickname, Jersey Jerry, actually came in 1980 when my very best friend for 35 plus years, Rudy Martzke, was a TV or a sports reporter for USA Today when they first started. And he says to me one day, I can't put Jerry Foster in the paper, but I think my editor will allow me to put Jersey Jerry. My chauffeur du jour and I went off and did this, the other thing.
Yeah.
And so for 30 plus years, I've been Jersey Jerry in USA Today, and I could write a book about my adventures with Rudy and the things we've done, stole the Madden Cruiser. And, And I've really had a blessed life and a lot of fun. And but to get to your question,
Yes.
to answer your question, the reason why my wife and I retired here 18 years ago actually is because of her parents. When Jan was a young one, her father was stationed here at Pensacola back in the 50s when she was told, don't go into the living room and touch the TV. Couldn't turn it on because there was no TV stations here.
Yeah.
And he was teaching.
There was barely a Navarre here
Right.
back then.
Well, and I'll get into that in a minute. But he was teaching the kids flying lessons at Sulphur Field, and then in 29 years in the Navy, his furthest offshore was on the Lexington out in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, teaching the kids how to do touch and goes off the Lexington. And then he spent 18 years as editor of the Naval Aviation News in the Pentagon for a while. First he was in Maine Navy, and then they moved him into the Pentagon. And he took his last 3 years, 29 years in the Navy here at Pensacola Naval Air Station, and he was in charge of the Blue Angels.
Yep.
And lived out at 3 Admiral Row. And in '69, he started, and that Christmas in '69, Jan and I started coming with the kids, and we spent 9 years, 3 on the base, and then he bought a house in Gulf Breeze, and we came for 9 years at Christmas time.
Yeah.
And we didn't stop coming, but we stopped at Christmas time because the kids were getting bigger, and we thought it was time we start having our own Christmas.
Yeah.
Never thought we would retire here, and that's too long of a story to go into here, but we're here. We met a couple. Jan and I, we lost a son in '89. Our son
we
Scott.
talked about that.
He was killed in a car crash 7 weeks short of his 17th birthday, and it was a very tough time in our life. It was a hard pothole to climb out of, so to speak, and what we ended up doing is we found this corporation called Barefoot Windjammer, and we started going into the Caribbean sailing. And those of you that know me know that I have a tattoo on my right leg, and we became part of a cult, and that's the logo for the Barefoot Windjammer, sailing on tall ships in the Caribbean, 3 and 4 mast ships. And we ended up doing 29 weeks of sailing over 9 years in the Caribbean. So you name an island from Bimini to Grenada, and we've probably sailed by it and put my feet on the sand there. So I had a good job in commercial real estate, and we were able to do a lot of traveling. We were actually doing a 2-week tour from Antigua down to Grenada, and her dad died, and they could not find us until he died on a Tuesday, and they couldn't find us until Saturday, and we were in St. Lucia at the time, and there was no way we could get back to the funeral on Monday.
Yeah.
So when we got back stateside, we called and we said, we'd like to come down, and Jan's sister, who lives here, and her husband said, no, everything's fine, Mom's taken care of. And Fred said, and this was in October, he says, why don't you come down and Labor Day, and we'll take the girls to New Orleans for a week because it's our 26th wedding anniversary. So I went ahead and booked a couple of weekends here in Navarre, and life was good. And when my son died, he was a junior at Paula VI Catholic High School in Fairfax, Virginia, and he was a heck of an athlete. And we started the Rudy, and Rudy brought in my buddy Rudy Martzke from USA Today. He brought in all the sports celebrities and ESPN and Turner Broadcasting and CBS, and they came in to play golf, and over a 10-year period we'd raised close to $500,000 for the high school in my son's memory. So we're at Carrabba's in Reston, Virginia, in the back room, and we have one of the networks picking up everybody that's the sports celebrities that are coming in to play golf on Friday. They're there. And I get a phone call from Sally that that's when Dad died. Yeah. And so, oddly enough, we were able to come to his funeral. And then I said to Sally, we're coming back in 2 months, but we're going sailing again
Yeah.
next month in
Yeah.
June, and we went to Antigua. I'm sorry, we went to Aruba. We've been to Antigua a lot. Saw Jimmy Buffett live there. But we went to in concert. It was
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
great. We went to Aruba to do the ABCs, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. And we get to the hotel. We go through customs. Turns out with the Natalie Holloway High School class, which is a very sad scenario that's back actually in the newspaper now, with that Dutch kid being. But we didn't know about it at the time, and there's a young lady that we're in the pool, and there's a young lady that comes swimming up to the bar. And Jan's on my left, and she pulls alongside me. I go, "Whoa, how you doing? I'm Jersey Jerry. This is my bride, Jan."
Yeah.
And we got talking. Her husband showed up, and we went out and had dinner with them Thursday and Friday night. We did our own thing Thursday. They had a Jeep, so they took us to the sailing ship on Sunday, and we had a steel band playing on the sailing ship, and the fantail, the cooks were back there doing the barbecue,
Sure,
and
yeah.
I mean, we're in the Caribbean. They're handing out rum swizzles, and they stayed until about 9:30. And Jim hands me his business card. He says, "If you're ever in Florida, come see me." I said, "Yeah, Florida." I looked at it. I said, "I thought you said you're a retired school teacher from Baltimore," and that was the connection. Living in Northern Virginia, I knew some restaurants in Baltimore, and anyway. I look at it, and the building that we're talking from, that's where he worked at Century 21 downstairs.
Yeah.
And I said, "What do you mean I never heard of Navarre Beach? We're going to be in Gulf Breeze in 2 weeks." And so Sally says we needed to find her a new house because her 3 boys were gone. Fred was gone. She had a 5-bedroom, 3-car garage, a pool.
Yeah.
She didn't want to be there all alone. So we were looking for a smaller house for Sally, and Jim and Terry Taylor, they took Jan and I and Sally out, of course,
Yeah.
and we came across this house on the back bay, and Jan says, "Well, it looks like it's vacant.
There it
Can't
is.
we go
Yeah.
see it?"
Yeah.
And the comment was that, "Well, it's too expensive for Sally," but Jan says, "What about us?"
Right.
And she fell in love with it, and
Rest is history. That's
we
awesome.
we made the decision a week later when we got
Still
back
here.
home, and I sent them a deposit. And
Yeah.
on September 28th, 05, I was the proud owner
There it
of a waterfront
I love
property
that,
here in Navarre.
I love hearing people's stories and their history, right? Of how they came here. Some people grew up here, it's been part of their family for generations. Other people.
But after we did that,
Yeah.
then we make the right decision.
Yeah.
So we were thinking Gulf Breeze. We went through Gulf Breeze and
Yeah.
nice area, and then some places in Midway we looked. And after all was said and done, that was it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I had built. I'm not a hero, folks, but I had built a 7,600 square foot home. My next door neighbor was Russ Grimm, who's in the Hall of Fame of the Redskins. My neighbor across the street was Tom Curley, who was the editor and president and publisher of USA Today. Al Piccarelli was my next door neighbor to my right as you look at the street, and he was the president of Grumman Data Systems. And a guy moved into that neighborhood in Oakton, Virginia, that we all hated because it was January, and Jan says, "Hey, there's some guy out there snow blowing our driveway after an 8-inch snowstorm." And he eventually does the sidewalk, rings the bell. Jan made some cocoa for him, and he comes in, and it was Dave Adams. And the question was, "So when are they going to clear the streets?" And I said, "Well, it's Thursday, maybe Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
We'll see something." He says, "Oh, no." He says, "I got to fly out with the president tomorrow." I said, "What president?" He says, "The president." Dave was the head of Secret Service at the White House.
That's wild.
And nice guy, but we hated him because I had just sold a building to Fairfax County, so I called the administrator who had not a plow, but a Caterpillar with 5-foot tires.
Yeah.
And every time it snowed, our road got cleared. And I had my own company at the time. I had 9 professionals working at Vector Realty doing commercial real estate in Northern Virginia. And morally, I had to go to the office.
Sure.
I had to go to work when
Sure.
it snowed. So we all hated him. But those are the those were the days when three-piece suits used to fit.
Yeah.
Couldn't get in one today, but hey, I'm older and heavier.
Wiser.
Well, I don't know about wiser.
You
But I
definitely
love
got
it
some
here.
advice.
This is we.
And you got some stories for sure.
I got stories.
One of the things you mentioned was raising money, and you have such a talent for doing that, especially for charities. It comes down to your ability to relate to people, to get them to buy into a cause, and really to lead. And I love that. And you have all this history that's saved up from all these different places that you've lived and worked and everything else, and you can relate to just about anybody. Right?
I feel blessed that the good Lord has given me talent.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Bible reader. I'm a Catholic. I was raised a Catholic. I'm a daily communicant, which means I go to church just about every day. And I had Father Kelly here at St. Sylvester ask me, why do I come to church every day? And I said, well, I say my rosary to and for my special angel, Scott. Yeah. Now, of course, with Jan gone a year and a half almost, I have two angels that I pray for. And he says, you don't have to come here. I said, no, but I get a lot of solace. It gives me a platform for the rest of my day to try to be a good person, to go out and try to, and I'm retired. I'm not, the joke is I'm not wealthy, but I am rich with the friends that I have. And I have so many different friends in different communities within the main community that I just feel blessed.
Yeah.
And so I'm using the talents that the good Lord gave me, and I've been very fortunate to surround myself with folks that are like-minded for the most part, and we've done a marvelous job. I don't want to get into it yet unless time talks.
Oh, we're flying. We're doing great. But so a man of many hats who's done a lot of things, realtor, you were military, sailor. I didn't know that until a few minutes ago when you told that story. Pirate.
And I have sailed. I've sailed with Dennis Conner on, and I've done things. I mean, I'm blessed with the. I think I shared with you the other day that people look up in the sky and they'll see not here so much, but up north, you'll see a blimp every once in a while. I had the good fortune of not only seeing a blimp, not only riding in a blimp, but I was the pilot for 45 minutes. Didn't need a license. Captain says, "Who wants to fly the blimp?" And
wow,
I raised my hand. Yeah, I'll do that.
That's wild.
And so I've been blessed.
Yeah. So the
And
the Pirates on the Panhandle that you're a part of is something that I didn't know about you probably for the first year. And I saw it coming up because you had mentioned that. Like, again, folks, he can rattle off stories all day long, as you can tell. So it was like one of several stories. Hey, I've also been involved in this Pirates charity. What is that for people that don't know?
All right. When we got here in 2005, we set the house up, and that was September. It was funny. We got here we settled on September 28th, but we didn't really get here until Thanksgiving Day week. And we showed up on Monday. The furniture showed up on Tuesday. We found enough china in the unpacking, and we had 9 for Thanksgiving dinner. Sally and her husband and her boys and some other folks that she brought over. And Saturday we left for the Caribbean to go sailing for 2 weeks. And what was the question again? I'm thinking about sailing. Oh my God, I just love sailing. If you've ever been out on a sailboat,
how did you
folks,
start sailing under the colors? That's the question. How did you become a pirate?
Well,
where did that start? So, Pirates on the Panhandle is a local charity, right? It's one of many things that you've been a part of.
We looked in the Pensacola News Journal,
Yeah.
and under events, and we saw that the Pirate Head Club of Pensacola was meeting at a Mexican restaurant. So we didn't have Google back in 15 years ago. I asked the next door neighbor where it was, and we looked it up on the telephone book and figured out how to get there. And so we go to the meeting, and we like the people we see, and there's some folks from the VAR. So we joined the Pirate Heads of Pensacola. And I'm not into Mexican food, So I made some other stops. My neighbor next door, great couple, they thought we were crazy when we first got here because we went into Pensacola all the time to
Yeah.
eat. What, are you out of your mind? You're driving all the way into Pensacola? Yeah, it's like, 18 miles. Forget about it. We lived in Northern Virginia where it take you an hour and a half to go 25 miles into the district.
Right.
And we think nothing of it going in to eat and having a good time. So we moved it over to the Orr House, thanks to Jan and I, which is really a great restaurant. It was back in the day, right on the Intercoastal on the west end, southwest end of Pensacola. And then we find out that there's another Parrot Head Club in Destin. So I go over to Destin, and there's people from Navarre that belong to that club also. So I joined that club.
Yeah.
And then I said one day in '07, I think, a couple of years in, I said, we should have an event in Navarre that brings both in. And so we ended up having a Pun Fest, PHFUN, for Parrot Heads,
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
And we rented out the Best Western. Literally, every room was filled by Parrot Heads that came in from 9 different states. And that first year, we had a 4-day event. Thursday, we had a band. Jerry Diaz and Hannah Reef came in from Texas. They ended up being the 2009. This was summer of 2008. They ended up being the 2009 Trop Rock Band of the Year. They played Thursday. Friday we had a pool party. Went out to Juana's that evening to eat. Saturday we had another band come up from the Keys, Harold Livingston.
Yeah.
And he was the current Trop Rock Band. And we had a whole bunch of gifts,
Yeah.
that you would
Yeah.
charity auction type kind of scenario. Jimmy Buffett sent us Ray White, who was the co-founder of the club with me when we eventually became a club. He got Jimmy to send a bomber jacket autographed, and there was a arts and crafts store here in Navarre. I went over, and they were kind enough to put it behind glass so that
Wow.
whoever got it could hang it up in their living room or family room
Yeah.
or wherever, and have a display of an autographed Jimmy Buffett
Sure.
bomber jacket. And no, the guy that won that, he actually took a knife out of his pocket, slit the back, took it out, put the jacket on,
Warren.
and wore it. Me, I would have hung it up and said, "Yeah, that's my Jimmy Buffett signed
especially
jacket."
now, right? Like, people-
But
Worth a lot.
we ended up having a great time, and we raised $13,000 for. At that time, that event was, I'll get it right, specifically for the zoo.
Mm-hmm.
And that $13,000 that we gave them from that weekend was enough money to feed the animals for a week and a half,
Yeah.
which shocked me.
Yeah.
I thought at 13, it's a lot of money. That would go a lot longer.
Yeah.
But it fed them for a week and a half.
That's awesome. Well, you mentioned a couple things about the Pirates, because that's how I kind of started showing up to it. Is I started hearing about the events that you do, and then the charitable causes. Here's one of them. I think I've got a picture of. This was the Christmas party that you had. That was fun.
We have
This was just a few weeks ago.
We're let me take you. You're going too far ahead. Let me take you back to the beginning, because when we started, Ray actually made the call to FIP, which is Parrot Heads in Paradise Incorporated, which oddly enough has nothing to do with Jimmy.
Yeah.
It was a group that incorporated and wanted to follow the lifestyle that Jimmy played with the trop rock music.
Yep.
And follow him.
Yeah.
And we had a young lady from Perdido Key
Yeah.
that went to see him in Hawaii. She was with us, Jan and I, when we went down to Antigua, and she had a sign, "I'm from Pensacola," that she pulled out, and her house was nothing but Jimmy. I mean, it was unbelievable home, and so Ray calls and says, "We want to start a Parrot Head Club," and the individual up in Johnson City, Tennessee, So, and he was an attorney. And he says, well, you can't. And Ray says, what do you mean we can't? He says, well, we have rules that they have to be a minimum of 50 miles apart,
Yeah.
and you're not. And so Ray started arguing with him on the phone. And Ray says, well, we're going to do this anyway. And this guy says, well, I hope you do, because I'd like to meet you in court if you do.
Yeah.
So Ray comes to me and he says, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I said, well, let's take our time. Let's analyze what we need to do,
Yeah.
and we'll present something. So I'm downstairs. Jan had kicked me out of the house after not quite a year, and I got my broker's license again. And I came to work with Jim and Terry down at Century 21. And I started doing some research. And I put together a 3-ring binder. Each page was in a plastic envelope, and I used bigger type so that it filled it up yay thick. And I did a Google map, and I changed Fuddpuckers in Okaloosa from where it is to where Bass Pro Shop is on the map.
Yep.
I didn't realize you could do that, but you could. And that turned out to be 48 miles. And then I had a young lady that worked for the Northwest Florida Daily News that I had talked to, and Tony says, yeah, I can find some stuff. And I asked for accidents that happened on 98. And she came up with an article before they put the traffic light in at the foot of the Brooks Bridge, where they had like 200 accidents in 150 days. Yeah. So whiteout is one of the best friends you ever have when you're doing something like that. So I didn't change the date. I just whited it out, and I made that a copy and put that into the document. And then on going to the Orr House, instead of making the left and going down Lakeshore Drive right alongside the water, I went Gregory Street into the city and then down that way. And that was 40-some miles. And they ended up giving us a charter in 2009. And we started as Pirates on the Panhandle, and I think I gave you a logo for that.
Yeah.
Was the parrot. And we were Pirates on the Panhandle Incorporated as a 501c3 Parrot Head Club. Mm-hmm. And that's how we started May 22nd in 2009. And from that date to today, I didn't check the bank records, but we have given away, we've raised funds, which we'll get in and talk a little bit about, but we raised funds to give to other nonprofits.
Yeah.
And we have given away over $185,000 to over 45 different nonprofit organizations.
I think I have some pictures of that. The big checks, right?
Yeah, big checks.
A lot of those.
Love doing that.
Yeah. Who were some of the top charities and nonprofits
well,
that y'all have supported?
One of the most recent, biggest one was 2 years ago from the Pirate Plunge. We gave $9,000 to the Navarre Pregnancy Resource Center, which helped them pay for a ultrasound machine. The Pregnancy Resource Center is located in Harvest Village, and it's for young ladies that get pregnant and don't know what to do. Typically, they're single. And do we abort or do you go full term and put it up for, I hate to say it, but put the baby up for adoption. And they have medical doctors that work with them, and they have psychologists and priests that gives them insurance, reinsurance that everything's going to be okay.
That's awesome.
And it really, it's something that you're not aware of, most people, until you need it, something like that. And then when you do your research, you find out, whoa, right here in our backyard. And this past January, we gave 2 checks of $5,000 each to the Emerald Coast Wildlife Refuge, which is very near and dear to our Pirates' heart, for $5,000, and for Set Free Refuge, which is another organization that a lady friend of ours put together, along with Skip Orr. Yeah. And they bring women out of the sex trafficking trade, and they have a home that they put these girls up. and they get counseling, again, social workers and psychologists and medical staff to make sure that if they have a medical problem, it's corrected. And they have a year to get themselves on their feet and self-sufficient. Yeah. And I think Skip has done just a fabulous job with Marcy on that. And so we were tickled pink to do that. Yeah. With the wildlife refuge, Carol and I go back 17 years. I met her when I first got my broker's license here in Navarre, and I just had an awful lot of respect for her. She and her husband Bill, they donated a portion of 16 acres to the Wildlife Refuge, which is not a new organization. They were on Okaloosa Island for 20 plus years. Yeah. But they offered their land on 87, and the Monday that the Board of Commissioners approved the transferring from the zoning from residential to allow a commercial entity on the property. That was a Monday morning. We had a meeting that Monday night, the Pirates did, and we voted to give them $3,000 to help them get off their feet. So I went and gave the check to Bill the next day, and I think we were the first one to give a donation to them. And of course, we've supported them in a lot of different ways and over the year. And one of the things, I had left Century 21, and I helped open the office for Keller Williams back in 2012, and which they didn't want an office here in Navarre. It's really a funny story, but thanks to the four young ladies and myself, we were able to bring in over 100 agents in less than 2 years. Yeah. And they have a May Day that they have where they give back to the community, and over 40 agents went up along with the Pirates, and even Mark Miller from Century 21. He brought us bush hog, and we cleared land up there back when they first got this rezoned. And then they ended up getting a grant from Impact 100, $106,000 to build an administration building where you come in and it's they have displays of the animals, and then a medical building in the back. And when my wife died back in July last summer, I said in lieu of flowers in the obit to donate to the Wildlife Refuge because she loved animals and we loved going up there. And lo and behold, they got almost $4,000, and I get a call one day from Pascal Robin who said, we have all this money, and we're going to make a memorial garden in honor of your wife and Larry Ralston from the E.O. Brothers when he passed away. So we have a little memorial garden. It's not big. It's about 35 by 40. But we put. I didn't send any of that.
I don't have those pictures, but not handy. But I've seen them. I remember Mike Matthews was out there working on it, like slaving away at it. That thing is gorgeous. I'll have to send that back out. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. A lot of good stuff.
So if you get a chance, hope you don't get pregnant. But if you get a chance, visit the other nonprofit. And so we gave the $10,000 away the first of the year to those two, and I'm very proud that our little band of pirates this year alone have given away over $18,900.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And our total is $189,000.
Yeah, you're almost to $200,000.
Yeah, that's the goal.
And one of the things that I wanted to say is what I like most about the Pirates is that you're bringing together other nonprofits and charities.
Trying to.
Right? Like there's a cohesive glue to the Pirates in that you're a 501c3, you're a charity who is helping other charities 501c3s. In the area. And that's so awesome.
And I was asked a couple of times about a couple of the folks that are on our list of 40
I have that actually. Let me show you that.
There is a couple that are not 501c3s, but they run events for 501c3s.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
So like the Columbiettes, the Knights of Columbus, Neighbor. They run golf tournaments, they run events that event is going to help a charity. So we help them get that event off the ground.
Yeah.
And it's all part, I think, of bringing the community together and for the betterment of those of us that live here in Navarre, because I just love living here in Navarre.
Yeah, that's well said. So let's talk about your next event. This is one of my favorite ones that y'all do every year. I did it for the first time last year, and this is your annual Pirate Plunge. So what is this exactly?
Well, we became a Pirate Head Club again in. I need to go back a little bit before I talk about this.
Sure.
We became a Pirate Head Club in May of '05, and in 3 years, hard for me to comprehend what I'm about to say. In 3 years, we were the 11th largest Parrot Head Club
Yeah.
in the world, because they have Parrot Head clubs in Europe, in the Caribbean, and actually there's one in Mexico. At least there was a few years ago. And we had 256 paid members from the Navarre area that were in our club. And unfortunately, we turned the club over to someone that took it from 256 to less than 40 in 10 months, because her goal was a true Parrot Head, wanted to change the name from Pirates. And I chose Pirates because we actually pirated the opportunity to steal this site to have a club. So I said, we're going to be on the pan, not
Yeah, that story makes sense.
on the pan, because we stole it. I mean, I had to do a little of this, a little of that. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. But, you have to do what you have to do to make it happen. And so we became Pirates on the Panhandle, but we had pirate members as far away as San Francisco, St. Louis. One of the charter members is Larry Schwartz, who lives in Reston, Virginia, Oak Hill, Virginia, Herndon, by Dulles Airport. That's better, outside of D.C. And he still sends his check in. Yeah. He comes down periodically for Mardi Gras and for the car show, which we put on in October. And, so we've had people from everywhere.
Sure.
So, unfortunately, there was a lot of discussion about the change, wanting to become fruitcakes in Navarre, and a lot of people left, needless to say. And
Pirates is a much better name.
Oh, yeah. And so we did not get renewed for the third year as a Parrot Head Club. And the individual that was then president sent to the state that we are disbanded. And unfortunately, it happened on my birthday, January 11th. So a bunch of us got together. I have to confess, I was not the one that created this, but some people said, why don't we get it back together again?
Right.
What do we have to do? So I said, all right, if you guys are interested, let's see what we have to do. So I called Tallahassee, and this guy is over in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
Wesley's laughing. He says, I don't care about no Parrot Heads. He says, you're Pirates on the Panhandle, Inc. If you want to renew your corporation, send me a list of your board of directors and a check for $35.
Yeah.
And boom, we were back in business. And we've been a 501c3, and we welcome your donations to help us reach that $200,000. And we're just blessed that we can help other organizations and some individuals. We raised over $15,000 for one of Bob Johnson's deputies,
Yeah.
that had a brain tumor, and everyone thought he was going to die, including his wife and his mother. And he went through all kinds of treatment, and he survived.
Yeah.
And we did a thing with Baker over at the Best Western. Baker, another great guy. Yep. Oh my God, what a! When we had that Fun Fest and we took over the hotel, we had a roach coach, I call him. We had a truck there, Woody's Pizza.
Yeah.
And you had to leave the pool, go down this slope, which was, according to the county, a drainage ditch when it rains. That's where the water's supposed to go. And then up the other side, which is now where Dewey Destin has got his restaurant. And I went in and said, Baker, what you need to do is you need to build a little gazebo on this, so people can sit there and watch the boats go by and the barges and enjoy the view. It's an awesome view. Calls me a month later. He says, what do you think of this plan? And the guy built the darn pavilion.
Yeah.
So then he puts columns. You had regular columns that hold the roof up, and then he boxed them in. And I go, no, you got to take those boxes out, Baker. He says, no, that makes it look good. I says, stand back here, and you look out. And I said, you get tunnel vision with the box. Take them down, and the circles will look like trees, and your vision expands. Yeah. He did it. Yeah. And I was with him this morning. I had a cup of coffee with him this morning. Just a great guy. And he says, Jared, I can't thank you enough, man. He says, that awesome. Thing has been awesome for us. Yeah. So little things like that I've made some change. I'm not a hero. Yeah. I just, again, the good Lord put me in places that I could make a difference. And
I think you've covered the history pretty well. So help me out with the event that you've got coming up. So we got a few days till Christmas, and then New Year's is coming up. So
in 1909, Ray and I went to Juanas, and we asked them if we could have a plunge into the sound on New Year's Day. And
2009, right?
Yeah, what did I say?
That's all right. Keep going.
Did I say 19?
You're good.
I'm old. Okay. I remember 2000 or 19. Anyway,
2009.
It was 2009. And we were laughed at, saying nobody comes out on New Year's. They're all hungover. They're watching the Rose Bowl parade, or they're watching football. And I said, good. Well, let us use your venue. And we were told, no, we'll go ahead and do it. So we had 57 people take the plunge. And I just happened to have right here, I can do this, I think, the original. How do I hold this up, Wes?
A little higher. There you go.
There. Is that good?
Nice. Yeah.
There's the original plunge shirt. Focus. And on the back, you can see our logo, which you didn't put up there for the folks to see. But there, can you see? Yeah, there's our logo. And so we had the first inaugural Freezing for a Reason, Pirates on the Panhandle, right there on the front. Yeah. At Juanas. 57 folks jumped in the water. And we raised about $1,892. Yeah. Ray White, God bless him, good friend, love him. He was at that time with Ruby Tuesday. He provided all the food, and he got Gold Ring, who's still been a good partner of ours over the years, to donate a keg of beer to Kevin, and so we had a lot of fun. Yeah. And the club chipped in a couple of $100, $120-some and change. And we gave a check to Janice Wilson, who at that time was the executive director of Escarosa Coalition for the Homeless. And we helped her establish a homeless facility here in Navarre at the church that's just right here behind us down the street as you head back toward the senior center and the library. And they put an office in there, and Janice had identified over 200 people that were living next to Publix when that was all woods. Back in behind what's now Bistro 98, back where 399 East Bay Boulevard comes into 98. There was over 100 people living back in there. And anyway, that's how it all began with the Pirate Plunge. Second year, we did the same thing. Here's the second shirt. And then the back, we went out and got, our logo got moved out of the top because Slippery Mermaid gave awful lot of money. So
you got a whole stack of them right there.
I got a whole stack.
So this is the last one, right?
This is this year.
I don't normally wear tie-dye, but you got me there with the orange.
Yeah, show the pics.
Yeah, I got a couple pictures from it. So this was the one last year. How many people were at this one?
The first one we did into the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
According to people that know crowds better than I, would be a reporter from the Pensacola News Journal that wrote an article about it, said that there were over 700 people there 2 years in a row, and at least 500 took the plunge. And I think this is last year. This was
last year, yeah. And
we sold out of T-shirts. We had 300 T-shirts made.
Yep.
We made, again, we have to take the cost of the T-shirt out of what is donated.
Sure.
And like I handed out a lot of flyers today, so that was a $60 bill. So that comes from your donations and from the sponsors. And can I use this?
Sure. Yeah, go right ahead.
This is something we gave Wes and Preserve Navarre for the car show.
Yeah.
That, how do I do
Yeah, no, you got it.
that? That, good.
Yeah, I love those little
So
plaques.
it's a little plaque that just says thank you. And we give those to the sponsors. And the sponsors, we have 35 this year.
Yeah.
God bless them all for supporting our works. Because without them, we couldn't give back into the community. So it's a partnership in that sense.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
it really is. I'm blessed. I feel like the good Lord's given me this opportunity, and I have, as I said earlier, I'm not wealthy, but I sure am rich with the friends that I have, and we have a really good bunch of folks right now in our Pirates on the Panhandle Social Club, and we gather for meetings on the first Monday of the month, and except for like 4th of July and Labor Day.
I got a treat for you here. I've got actually pulled the video from last year.
Oh boy!
So that's my first year from doing it, and I took my family for it. So if you want the experience of running into the Gulf, if you want to know what that looks like, I got it for you right here. Let's see if this actually works.
1, 2, 3, go!
So they can hear the noise.
That's right. Yeah. I'm in there, and I think
That's me carrying the pirate flag.
there's my son running back.
We have a lot of workers, but there's an awful lot actually. It's a cleansing. If you go to our
It's a good way to
webpage,
start the new year. Yeah.
if you go to the webpage, NavarrePiratePlunge.com, I have a narrative on the webpage that explains what a plunge is, what a pirate is, and how that's a beautiful bride you have there.
Yeah.
Nice
So
family.
my son did it, and he took the plunge for a hot second. Ran back.
But
And
he
then-
did it,
and then- Yeah, and then my wife brought a bunch of towels and stuff like that so that you can jump right into it. But
And then we
it's an
have
awesome event.
I want to thank some folks if I can. We're going to do it at Andy D's this year on his back deck. Andy, a great community leader, I believe. He's got a fantastic location, but he believes in Navarre. He believes in helping Navarrians. And we're just tickled pink that he's closed that day, but he's allowing us to be on his back deck. And he's given us a bartender that'll, if you pay the $30 to get a T-shirt, anybody can plunge. Anybody can go down to the Gulf of Mexico, Navarre Beach, and go in the water with us. But when you come back for the after party, we're going to give you a bracelet, and that'll get you some food. Red beans and rice and cornbread, and then you'll have an opportunity to have a cold beer on us if you want something a little bit more potent, I guess. The bar will be open on the back deck. And the Rowdies rock band will be once again. Jeff Ivanoff has been he's been a godsend, donating his time. We do pay him a little bit, not him, but the guys that play behind him. He's a good Christian man that he gives back more than people realize. And so they'll be playing from 11 till about 11:45, and then we'll all go down to the beach, jump in the water, and then come back and party till 3 o'clock. The band will be playing, and it'll be we'll have some old T-shirts that we didn't sell. We sold out of the tie-dyes real quick.
It's a good shirt.
It's a
good
nice shirt.
Like, I was skeptical when you said tie-dye, but here I am wearing it. I love it.
Well, it's a good logo, and I think this year's logo is nice. And the two groups that we're supporting this year is Surf Brigade, which we started out as only just them, because what they do is near and dear to my heart, I guess. It's a bunch of military guys that have formed a 501c3, and they help other folks that come back from being deployed, like you were just recently, And by the way, thank you for
Yeah,
your
I appreciate
service.
it.
God bless you, brother. He can't tell you what he did, but I know a little bit. And they're members from Pensacola to Panama City, but 80% live in Navarre, in the Navarre area, because they're right here at Hurlburt.
Sure.
So these kids, I'm going to start my 84th ride in January, so
Yeah.
I call them kids. You're a kid,
Okay.
and I love you, bro.
Got it.
But both guys and gals come back, and some of them have PTSD, and the goal is not to have them pull a Harry Carey because they can't handle what life has given them now.
Yeah.
So they give them a chance where you can be my buddy, and I learn how to surf.
Yeah.
And there's 2 courses, one in the spring, one in the fall. They're 7 weeks long, and I haven't met Kevin, but I love the guy because I've talked to him. I've sent him emails and texts, and I can't wait to meet him. Hey, Kev, God bless you if you're watching for what you do. But it's not just about surfing. It's about commitment to the community. You don't have to get a job, but they want you to get involved in something. Join the American Legion. Be involved in something. If you're a motorcycle guy, become a rider. If you're not, get involved in a nonprofit. Help somebody in the community. And if you do that when you graduate after 7 weeks, they'll provide you with a surfboard and a wetsuit and all the necessary paraphernalia. And then you got a buddy for life that's going to help you not take your life. So
No,
that's
you brought it all
awesome.
together. So the thing that I love about it is, you can have a good time doing social events like the plunge that's going to be in just a couple of weeks. But in doing so, you're supporting so many other causes, some of whom, I'll be honest, I had never even heard about until tonight, because that long list of charities is being supported by what you guys do. And then
45 plus.
it's amazing.
And then
you
we're
mentioned-
also going to give money to the Navarre Beach Sea Turtle Conservatory Center, because they want to expand. And I'm hopeful that everybody will show up that's been with us in years past, and support us, because we're trying to support people in the community and businesses, nonprofits that are there for us,
and then
which
right there
makes
at-
our community so much better.
Yeah, I don't know. That's it. And right there at Andy D's too, supporting a local business. And I mean, that's a whole episode in itself, just talking about what he's done to that restaurant.
Andy is, if you haven't met him or you haven't been, I would
Incredible.
encourage you to go out and visit with him. He's there most nights. Ask, is the manager in? And he's just a heck of a guy. I can't say hell of a guy because I can, because I just did.
Go with heck of a
But
guy.
heck of a guy. I gotta
Get a little piratey over there.
his son's baby. His son's watching, so I gotta.
So again, January 1st, Pirate Plunge. But then, you mentioned it at one point. How do people join the Pirates and get involved in some of these charities?
Well, you can join the Pirates. We'd love to have you. There are 3 websites that I put together, and I'm not a webmaster.
Not a hero. Not a hero.
No, I'm not a hero at all. I'm not. I'm just doing the good
How do they
Lord's
join?
work. Am I running out of time?
we got 2 minutes.
Oh
We're
my
about
God.
to hit an hour.
www.navarrepirateplunge.com. Really easy. navarrepirateplunge.com.
Good deal.
Our Pirates on the Panhandle.com is another website that you can register on. And we have a third one called NavarreBeachCarShow.com, which we didn't get a chance to talk about. But we do the car show the second weekend in October. We took that over in 2012 from Neighbor that ran it for 12 years. We picked up on year 13. And it's been a moneymaker that we put all of those funds into we give $1,000 to the high school.
Yep.
And then for the use of their terra firma. And then we put that into our charity account so we can give money next year.
Yeah.
And again, this year alone, we've given away over $18,900 to other charities.
Well, I hope you hit that 200,000 mark. I think you're very
Can't
close.
do it without the sponsors and the people out there watching. God
All
bless
right,
you
let me hit
all.
some of these
Thank you.
comments up. I'm just going through them. It looks like Mike was on there talking to Elizabeth about some other stuff. We'll definitely get to some water system issues. I know that's very big in the news right now, but I really wanted to focus on what Jersey's doing with the Pirates now.
Tune in next week.
Yep, Chuck, Nancy were on here, and then Joe was as well. So hey, thank you all for tuning into it. I love doing these live shows. I love spending time with people because I mean you're just a fountain of stories that are unending. Like, and you throw in wild details and things like that. Oh yeah, he was the head of the Secret Service. Oh yeah, it was Jimmy Buffett's friend. Like,
yeah,
just incredible history, and that's so much of Navarre, right? Like, you epitomize so much of that. Of Navarre is so rich with history. It's not just this place that you just stop.
And
on
I
the
didn't
way
even get a
Pensacola.
chance to talk about.
Well, we only have an hour. So
I
I
know.
know you got more.
I got more. Like
So
a bad check. I'll be back next year.
So reach out to Jersey Jerry if you're interested in getting involved with the Pirates. We'll see you again. The event, people can show up. Anybody can jump in. January 1st, we'll be there. We'll have a table set up. Thanks again for your time.
God
Always
bless
love
you.
spending time with you.
Thank you for what you do.
All right, y'all have
this
a great
guy's an
Thursday
American
night.
hero, folks. God bless him.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you for your service.
Have a good night, y'all.
Peace.